like to begin by acknowledging we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Nous tenons d'abord à souligner que nous nous trouvons en Mi'kma'ki, le territoire ancestral non cédé du peuple Mi'kmaq. Please remain standing for the playing of O Canada.
Students, staff, family members, and honored guests to Auburn High School and our Remembrance Day ceremony for 2019. Before I continue, I would like to ask everyone to set their phones to airplane mode or to power down as cell phone signals interfere with the wireless microphones the students will be using today. I would also like to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge our special guests this morning. Chief Petty Officer Farouz, Councillor David Hensby, and Councillor Laura Lee Nicole. Thank you for taking the time to participate in today's ceremony with our Auburn Drive community. On the 11th hour of the 11th day in the 11th month, in 1918, an armistice agreement was signed which marked the end of the hostilities during World War I. Today, Canadians pause in a moment of silence to honor and remember the men and women who have served and who continue to serve Canada in times of war, conflict, and peace. Before we begin our ceremony this morning, I would like to acknowledge the work of Miss Kennedy and the Drama 11 students, their hard work and contribution to our ceremony today. It is with gratitude that we remember the sacrifices of many today so that the rest of us could live in freedom.
Between September 2019 and October 2020, the Netherlands will be commemorating and celebrating the 75th anniversary of its liberation of the Nazi oppression. The Canadian forces played a decisive role in the liberation. The people of the Netherlands will never forget that 7,600 Canadians gave their lives in the effort to free their country. At the end of the Second World War, as an expression of gratitude for Canada's sacrifice, the Dutch royal family presented Canada with a gift of 100,000 tulips. In honor of this special anniversary, the Kingdom of the Netherlands has repeated this 1945 post-war gift of 100,000 tulip bulbs to Canada. 1,100 schools across Canada received 75 of the Liberation 75 tulip bulbs. This week, students Owen Cox and Connor Dole helped our student librarian, Ms. Cole McNeil, plant our tulips in front of the Auburn High School sign. In the spring, when the tulips come up, we will have a visual reminder of the Canada's role in the liberation of the Netherlands. Today, Auburn remembers.
Daniel MacDonald enlisted in the Prince Edward Island Highlanders in August of 1940. He eventually transferred to the well-known Cape Breton Highlanders, where he was a sergeant on the front line of the Allied campaign in Italy. He was first wounded in action during an assault on the Gothic Line, but received treatment and was back in his unit only a few weeks later. On December 4th of 1944, during the Battle of Senil River, a shell exploded 20 feet away from him, which resulted in him being seriously injured, requiring his left arm and leg to be amputated.
We're going to have to amputate both his left arm and left leg.
Are you sure there's not a way for us to save it?
The damage from the blast is far too severe. There's nothing that we can do.
That's going to be horrible for him when he wakes up. How can someone live like that?
You'll have to learn how.
When he returned home, he was greeted as a hero. Daniel MacDonald spent a total of 10 years as the MLA for First Kings in the Prince Edward Island legislature. In 1972, he became a federal member of parliament for the riding of Cardigan. Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau appointed him as the Minister of Veterans Affairs. In this role, he reformed veteran pensions to make them more generous and introduced pensions for prisoners of war. He was also successful in lobbying Parliament to provide disability pensions for all Canadians.
I wonder what this guy's got for us.
Who, Daniel MacDonald?
He's a member of Parliament who lost his arm and leg in World War II.
Yeah, I wonder what ideas he's got to share.
The House recognizes the Honourable Member of Parliament of Cardigan, PEI, Mr. Daniel MacDonald.
Thank you. As Minister of Veterans Affairs, I plan to introduce legislation to help support our veterans physically, emotionally, and financially.
Daniel MacDonald's experience on the battlefields of World War II led him to initiate political reform that forever changed the lives not only of Canadian veterans, but of all Canadians with disabilities. Today, we remember the Honourable Daniel MacDonald.
Auburn Drive has the sad distinction of being the only high school in Canada that has lost 2 former students to the war in Afghanistan. Private Braun Scott Woodfield was from Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia, and graduated from Auburn Drive High School in 1998. After serving as a peacekeeper in Haiti, Woodfield served in Afghanistan from August to November of 2005. At the age of 24, Woodfield was killed when his Lav 3 armored vehicle flipped over between Kabul and Kandahar, Afghanistan. He was posthumously awarded a Sacrifice Medal and was laid to rest in Ottawa.
Master Corporal Stanix was from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, and graduated from Auburn Drive High School in the year 2000. He enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces in 2001. In April of 2007, his Lav 3 truck struck a roadside bomb west of Kandahar, Afghanistan. And Stanix was killed along with 5 other soldiers, which resulted in the highest single-day death toll during the war in Afghanistan. He was 24 years old when he died. In addition to being posthumously awarded to the Sacrifice Medal in 2014, the HRM announced a new ferry would be named after Stanix. Today we honor and wear a poppy for them with pride.
To define, but determine our lives.
Friday the 13th, 1981. A few weeks before your 24th birthday, you decided, not exactly by choice, but you decided to give your life to our country. Friday the 13th. That really set the tone for what was to come. 1982, less than 1 year since you joined, you were out in the Cold War, a war against ourselves and the start of a lifelong war against yourself. 1991, 6 years since you returned from Poland, 6 years of better memories, but you were still haunted by the old ones. Your first child was born. 1992, your second. 2000, your third. 2002, your fourth. 2006, you were recruited to JTF2, although I feel it was a lot earlier than what you say. Years of training, months without seeing your family, sometimes years. Your wife was happy that she was supposed to hear, so we did not have to travel like she did as a kid. 2008, you were sent to Afghanistan when Canada wasn't even supposed to be there because there's still hundreds of villages that still need to be saved and thousands of people that still need to live. 2009, you were sent home. Thank God. But if it weren't for your injuries, who knows what could have happened.
It's hard to be a military child. Moving from place to place, not knowing when I could suddenly have to leave my own world. Tearful goodbyes, trying to stay in touch, knowing I may never see these friends again as I enter my new world. Having to meet all new people, trying to find my way around, worrying for those I might not come back to. Like so many I've left behind, gone with the wind, out with the tide, like all the lives I've lived. But at least this time you won't leave without me.
It's hard to be a military child. You said you'd be home for my birthday. I've turned 16 this year. You were supposed to return 2 weeks before Christmas, but now it'll be 2 days before. I never get to see you. There's so many things I want to say. But by the time you come back, I've forgotten. I guess I'll save it for another day. I miss you when you're gone, but I get used to your absence. And I feel bad for not missing you as much, but if I did, I'd always be hurting. I understand why you're away, which just makes it all the more daunting. And sometimes I think of you when you're gone, but I just think of the dangers and turn my thoughts to a brighter day. I appreciate your sacrifice and your courage. I understand how difficult it is for you. But the soldiers aren't the only ones that feel the impact. The families of the soldiers feel the impact too.
It's hard to be a military child. If only you knew how it felt to be alone here, waiting for your return. I understand you're gone for a reason, but that doesn't mean I can't worry. That doesn't mean I can't miss you. Until you come back. Tragedy in your eyes. It feels like your soul is missing. The atmosphere is dark and silent. I am still small, and I don't understand why there is a difference. Patience is failing, anger is rising. I am on edge just as much as you are. All the yelling and screaming is getting to be too much to bear anymore. I never bring people over anymore. I live in a fear of angering you, a fear of getting closer to you, a fear of going to bed at night because of your sporadic anger, a fear of going home to the mess that we call a family. Nothing is the same anymore. Nothing is happy anymore.
It's hard to leave a world behind.
It's hard to leave you behind.
It's hard to live with what you left behind.
It's hard to be a military child.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will be showing a video about Remembrance Day. I believe that this video is
This
important.
is stupid.
Whoa! Could you be a little respectful, please?
No, this is pointless. I'm just here to get out of class.
Could you just take a second and put yourself in their shoes, please?
I don't want to be here.
Okay, well the door's there. Go.
Fine.
Excuse me.
Me?
Yes, you.
Me?
Is your name Jonathan Edwards?
Yes, sir.
I am a member of the Canadian Royal Military, and I would like to inform you that you've been called to service to aid in the war effort. The bus comes midday tomorrow. Good day, sir.
Sir, we talked about this. Please. Sir, I can't go. I have a family to take care of. Sir, I can't go. last. Going to Juno Beach today. Big offense in France. It's supposed to be one of the best ones we had so far. Change the tide of this war. If you need to throw up, try and throw up off the boat. It's not fun sitting and puke.
I don't want to be here. Watch out! Whoa! Medic! Are you medic? Mom! Mom! I don't want to be here!
Scalpel? Get bandages quick!
You not see me? Help him!
Here, he's bleeding out. We're gonna lose him. Put pressure on the wound. We lost the pulse.
Time of death, 1926.
I don't want to be here.
Excuse me, are you Mrs. Edwards? I have terrible news for you. Your son Jonathan, he was killed in action last night.
No!
I don't want to be here.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to be here.
Are you okay?
Where am I?
The Remembrance Day ceremony.
What happened?
You kind of blanked out.
I'm so sorry. At first, I really didn't want to be here, but now I understand why we all need to be here. And I really think you should show that video so we all can see what happened.
We'll never have a future if we don't remember the past.
Talk of trouble is sent through the country, and we need an army to fight for the right. Young men enlist and are sent to the battle to fight the offender and help our allies.
Comrade is a comrade.
And the young men cry, oh Canada, we'll gladly go and fight for thee. And the young men cry, oh Canada, we'll fight to keep you free.
Oh, I lost a brother here. That's why it's over.
The battle's raging, gunfire is blazing. A tired young soldier is clinging to life. He's ordered on and obeys by advancing.
APCLI Battle Group will remain steadfast in our mission.
I miss him very much. I love him very, very much.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
Rest in peace, Ainsworth. Your work is all done here.
Our spirit is not shaken, our resolve unwavering.
And yet there's a danger much greater within. The noise we make as we constantly bicker would hush not a whisper if we listen to hear.
Days like these make me proud to be a soldier.
Is that why we have died for thee? And the soldiers cry, oh Canada, we died to keep you free.
It's amazing to know that people actually support what we're doing.
And strong.
I went to war because I needed a reason to live by giving others that right.
I went to war because I wanted to save the lives of others and protect the helpless, to have justice and peace.
I went to war because I had privileges that I wished to give everyone in the world.
I went to war because I want to change how people are treated and protect and serve my own.
I went to war because I felt the need to help others get the human rights I sometimes take for granted.
I went to war because there were people who couldn't fight for themselves.
I went to war because war broke out in my country.
I went to war because I wanted to protect my family and the people around me. I wanted to be a hero serving my country.
I went to war because I wanted a sense of accomplishment.
I went to war because I wanted to be the person who realized that this world needs help.
I went to war because I know it is my destiny.
I went to war because I felt that peace on this earth is worth fighting for.
I went to war because my heart begged me to right the wrongs in the world.
Attention! Bottle left! Quick! March! Halt! Advent and turn!
Thomas Whitmore, dead at 19 years old in World War I.
Christopher O'Kelly, fought in World War I, died in a boating accident in Lake Salt.
John Thomas, age 28, went missing in August of 1917 on a 10-day mission near France.
Harry W. Brown, fought in World War I, died at age 19 from exhaustion while delivering a message to headquarters in France.
Nicola Goddard, the first female killed in Afghanistan, died May 17, 2006.
Ellis Wellwood Sifton, killed at age 25 in World War I while holding off the enemies.
George Lawrence Price, age 25, died 2 minutes before the end of the First World War.
William Johnston Milne, age 20, killed during World War I while fighting in France.
Herb Miller, age 23, killed in action in World War I.
Clyde Horner, age 25, killed in action in the Netherlands during World War I.
Francis Pegamagabo, a First Nation soldier, was highly decorated for his bravery and was the most effective sniper of World War I.
Aubrey Cossins, age 23, died while fighting in Germany during World War II.
Robert Hampton Gray, age 27, died while fighting in Honshu, Japan during World War II.
Daniel Greenslade, died at age 20 caused by a bombing while fighting in Afghanistan. Thomas G. Prince.
I survived the war. I survived the war, but I had to live with what I saw.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Lest we forget.
We tend to think that dying is the worst thing that can happen to you. That being removed from this world and venturing into the unknown is the greatest defeat you will face. But death comes with something else. Peace. After death, you no longer face the trials of this world. You are, in fact, free from them. But what could be worse? Surviving death, surviving evil, surviving a place where there's no remorse for one's actions, where taking a life is seen as a victory, where destroying a way of life is said to raise another. Why? Why would anyone venture there? Why would someone risk the life they know, risk being lost to those they love? Why would anyone risk everything? For love. For isn't that why people fight in wars? To protect those they love and the life they know? To keep the horrors that they face to a land far away from their loved ones, or to drive it away from them. We tend to think that dying is the worst thing that could happen to you. But we've established that it isn't. That surviving death is truly worse. So remember those who fought, those who died, but also those who came back. For not only did they face death, but fates worse than death. And from their sacrifice, we keep our freedom. For without them, we too could face fates worse than death.
We are here to remember.
We are here to remember.
We take a moment of silence for the many moments that weren't silent but filled with screams and broken dreams of men young and old who fought for our freedom even after they were told they might not make it safely home.
Men with heads high left their lives behind just to try to leave behind new opportunities for new generations to rise.
But not forget the cries of the soldiers who fell so we could stand.
And to the soldiers who are still standing but fall to their knees in front of their brothers' graves who no one can see, thinking, it should have been me.
It should have been me! It should have been me!
It should have been me!
I wish I could stop the bombs going off on repeat in your head, or the PTSD that has you hanging on by a thread.
Or the nightmares that keep you up late into the night.
So you look out your window and wait for daylight.
And to the kids whose parents don't just miss dinner one night, but miss birthdays and Christmas, so they can type. So when you see them, hold them tight, because you don't know if the last time you see them will be tonight.
Today I ask you all to keep your heads up or let them fall. as we take a moment of silence to remember the moments that were not.
Goodbye as I cry as my son leaves for war. Goodbye as I whine, my husband gone to settle score. Goodbye to my brother, father, grandfather, and friend. My day to say goodbye, my world came to an end. Do you think this was a waste of my time? The thought of our young boys on that vicious soil, the thought of our husbands fighting for their country, staying loyal, all of our soldiers giving their surgeons for us? Do you think this was a waste of their time? The terror they feel as they force their fears, the pain they endured, eyes filled with tears, one moment in time to imagine what they went through. You think this is a waste of your time? Yet they laid their lives on the line for you, ignorant child who doesn't have time. Your freedom they fought for, suffered, and died, and you can't take a moment and close your eyes? Stand and think. This is not a waste of time.
Please be seated. I'm very proud to be an Eagle this morning. And my heartfelt thank you to everyone for your participation today. I hope that you carry in your hearts and minds over this weekend, and particularly on Monday, the things that you have seen and heard here today. At this time, we are going to dismiss back to your D block class, so I would ask the teachers and students to my left to exit through this side of the gymnasium,